Coming up, Tamuk Theater, She Kills Monsters, coming soon to our own Jones Auditorium.
Plus, the Jerrigan Library recently received a collection of newspapers dating all the way back to the 1960s.
This episode of the Javelina Broadcast Network starts right now. Welcome to this episode of the Javelina Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Bella Grossman.
And I'm Selena Ortiz. Let's get right into the news.
Coming this April, She Kills Monsters brings the emotional journey of two sisters reigniting their bond through a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. As they navigate fantasy battles and real-life struggles, the play explores loss, healing, and the power of family. But there's no spoilers here. Watch the heartfelt story unfold this April at the Jones Auditorium. Our entertainment editor and today's host, Selena Ortiz, was there with more.
Hey guys, this is Selena from Desk. I'm here at the Little Theater where they are rehearsing She Kills Monsters. Tell us a little bit about She Kills Monsters and what it's about and some of the characters.
It's a good story. I just read it all when we did the read-through, and I really liked it. It's really funny. There's a lot of funny moments, but there's an old script out there that has a lot more funnier jokes that I wish stayed. I wish it stayed. But the story is really good. It's heartfelt. It gets really tear-jerky at the end, especially at the end. And the story follows this girl named Agnes and her sister Tilly, even though her sister isn't alive, but is being brought to life by her D&D campaign. In the story, all the characters are represented by their D&D characters. And then sometime later in the story, they get out of it and you meet the actual characters that made the D&D characters, which is pretty cool because they're like, all of them are completely opposites, and it's pretty fun.
Intimidated or nervous when you're preparing to audition? How do you prepare for it?
I do get very intimidated. That's just because I'm an anxious person, though. But I think like once I actually start doing the auditions and getting into character, it starts to just be fun more than anything. And I said before, like what I do to prepare is I watch the show. I try to find it somewhere on YouTube to kind of see what characters there are and which characters I like. And that's about it, just to get an idea of what they are.
What is the most exciting part about getting to see these shows come to life and getting to be a part of the whole process?
I think when I get most excited about the show is probably when everything is coming together, like when we have the set and some of the costumes and we're like running the show like fully. I think that's the most exciting part, is just like, I guess, leading up to the final show date. It's when everything's like ready.
What is the auditioning process like, and what do you look for in the students who audition?
Well, the auditioning process from my perspective is usually pretty difficult, especially when everybody was really, really good. So it was really hard to kind of pick who to play as what. But the one thing as a director that you kind of have to look out for is that, and a lot of times people don't know this, but like auditioning just doesn't just end at auditions. It continues throughout the process of the actual rehearsals. It even continues into other shows that you're not even directing, because you're always constantly seeing who can play as what and who is more reliable into doing what. So you kind of have to have that mentality and kind of being on your toes, so that way that you can find who can do what and try to get the best out of your students. At least that's what I try to do. I have a good bunch, so.
That's all for me. I'll see you back at the desk.
Now for everyone's favorite segment, Hoggy Highlights. CAB hosted an airbrush trucker hat giveaway, offering students a chance to score some hip and stylish swag just in time for spring break. This event was a hit, with students picking up custom-designed hats to rock during their spring break adventures.
Multiple organizations and resource offices at TAMUC recently came together to host Tropical Temptations, an event aimed at preparing students for a fun but safe spring break. The session covered essential safety tips, including drinking responsibly and partying safely, ensuring everyone could enjoy their break while staying mindful of their well-being.
Before we get into this episode's last story, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
Javelinas, welcome back to the second half of this episode on the Javelina Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Bella Grossman.
And I'm Selena Ortiz. Let's get right back into the news. News for history enthusiasts. The Jurgen Library recently received a collection of newspapers dating all the way back to the 1960s. These invaluable historical records have now been safely stored in the South Texan Archives, located on the third floor of the library. The addition of these newspapers offers a unique glimpse into the past, preserving decades of local news and stories for future generations to explore. Our managing editor, Matthew Roberts, was there with the story.
Thank you, Bella and Selena. Hey, Javelinas. This is your managing editor, Matthew Roberts, and we're heading to the Jernigan Library where members from the Alice Echo News Journal will be delivering issues of their old paper that date back to the 1950s to the South Texas Archives. So let's go check it out. What does the storation of stuff like this do for the community?
Yeah, so it's really exciting. We're actually a repository for 11 counties in South Texas, so we already have a pretty big newspaper collection. Alice is one of the ones we were kind of missing a little bit from, and so what this will allow us to do is, depending on rights, we can digitize that, preserve it, and then put it online here for people to come in and read a little bit better.
What do you think this does for the history of the Alice Echo News Journal?
Oh, this is really exciting. They've now picked us, and we can preserve that. So we will have that newspaper for hundreds of years, and then they know it's safe and secure. It's accessible. We're all open to the public. So anybody can come in and do research here. So it's a really great opportunity for us as well as for them.
What do you think this does for the history of the Alice Echo News Journal?
So the history of the Alice newspaper goes back more than 100 years. And so I'm not quite sure the number of years that the bound issues that were just submitted, how far back they went. But what it does is it secures the longevity, the history of the community. So the Alice Echo News Journal has changed hands so many times from different companies over the last 100 years. And so it's important that all of those copies of those newspapers are in one repository so that they don't get lost and the history of the community doesn't get lost.
How did the county even obtain possession of those older issues of the Alice Echo News Journal?
Well, again, so the newspaper has been bought and purchased so many times over the years that somewhere along the way, those archives kind of got shoveled around and lost. They were actually just in someone's private storage unit. And a conversation just, I think, happened between a former employee of the newspaper and somebody at the county and said, hey, by the way, these are over there. And so it's taken quite a bit of time, probably almost a year, for the county to be able to obtain those archives and then make arrangements with the South Texas Archives to have them moved over here for safekeeping.
Thank you for watching. Now, back to the desk with Selena and Bella.
Now for all our sports fans out there, it's time for Sideline Reports with sports editor Mark Boz.
Thanks, Bella and Selena. Hey, Javelinas, it is your sports editor, Mark Boz, and let's get right into everyone's favorite sports segment. First off, I want to congratulate the 16 track and field athletes who competed this past weekend at Nationals in Indianapolis. Go ahead and read more about the performances on the South Texan website. Prior to March 14th, the Javelina Beach Volleyball games have been on a roll so far this season. They have marked the fastest time, reaching 12 wins this season so far. The Javelina tennis team is at home next weekend, going on and having their first home opening matchups on Thursday, March 27th at noon against the 22nd seed UT Tyler, and on Saturday, March 29th against the 11th seed Dallas Baptist. Our Javelina softball team also plays Oklahoma Christian next Friday in a doubleheader and Cameron College in a doubleheader on Sunday next weekend. Lastly, the baseball team also will be at home next weekend going up against the ranked opponent Angelo State University. And don't forget that the following week on Wednesday, the team goes to Corpus Christi to face the Hooks at Whataburger Field, and we will be there to cover it for you guys. So good luck to all our Javelinas out there, and now let's get right back to the desk with Bella and Selena.
Thank you, Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to the Javelina Media Experience for more news on campus. And don't forget to pick up your copy of the South Texan. I was your host, Bella Grossman.
And I'm Selena Ortiz. Thank you for watching this episode of the Javelina Broadcast Network.